Hey guys, this is a review on the Urbanfun, the new version. So I did a review on the first revision of these, or the first version that came out, and it was okay, but I did not give it a glowing review like so many others. So many people were hyping it, and I was really expecting a lot. And when I listened to it, I was not impressed at all. And there were some issues, like with the cable that was kind of cutting in and out, that kind of thing on the left channel. And they sounded okay, but they did not sound good to me. Like, uh, they produced music, I guess, correctly. There was nothing exciting about them. Treble wasn't really airy and clear, and bass was okay, but not great. In fact, they kind of sounded like everything was distant when I was listening to them. Like everything was far away from me. So I sold those, and hopefully the person that got them liked them. But um, I saw that they had another reviewer did a post on these that they had done a new version. They said supposedly the manufacturer, and I'm not going to say names here, but the manufacturer had run out of beryllium drivers and was putting in some other type of driver. So supposedly the reviewer that I heard said that the manufacturer, and I won't say any names here, the manufacturer had run out of beryllium drivers. They didn't bother telling anyone on that, which I think is kind of sketchy. You know, it actually kind of upsets me that I spent my money the first time around thinking I was getting something beryllium driver, and the manufacturer ran out and didn't bother telling anybody. They just kept on selling like, no big deal. So I got these and I had high hopes, and this is an important thing to take into account. So I ordered them and they came in a nice box, a new box that actually fits them. Really nice little case, smart looking little case. And I ordered the pink cable, they called it, which is actually just copper and silver run together. And the cable's nice, and it's 3.5 connector. Nothing fancy about it, but it is a nice cable. Same metal case on these things. Let me see if I can shine these up a little bit for you guys. So, there they are right there. Looks good. These fit really well in my ear. That's one of the things I really liked about the Urbanfun the first time around was, other than the sound, was that, they fit really good in my ears. And so I got these in and I plugged them in and started listening to them. And I listened to them on a lot of different stuff, but I initially plugged them into my monoprice monolith THX amp, and because that one is very kind of reference for me. So right away they sounded like I was listening to an AM radio inside of a tin can. I swear to God, that's what it sounded like. And I was like, oh my God, I wasted. So I paid $69 for these, and then I didn't want to wait, because if you don't pay for express shipping out of Linsol, it takes a freaking month right now. But if you pay for express shipping, it takes like 2 or 3 weeks, so it's a little bit quicker. So I went ahead and did that. So altogether, I spent like $89 on these, and I mean, they sounded horrible. And I thought, okay, maybe it's a break-in thing. I can't believe they sound like this. So I had them in my ear, and I turned the volume up just a little bit, and suddenly they completely changed from an AM radio in a tin can to a very nice sounding set of IEMs. And it was like a sudden change. Like, I think what had happened was the driver might have been, because these have dynamic drivers in them, I think that driver might have been stuck. It's an electromechanical device. It's, an electromagnet that gets powered up and pulls that driver in and out. So I think possibly it was stuck, and then when I turned the volume up a little bit, it freed it. But so from that point on, these became fantastic sounding IEMs, and these sound nothing like the other set that I had. And I'm guessing it's that beryllium driver. I don't really know what it is about beryllium or why it would be better, but something about it, because I can tell you in my review. So what I compared these to, because I felt like I needed to compare them to something else, and a lot of people had compared these to the Blonde, the 03. So I thought I'm going to do the same. I'll compare it to those, because I really like the Blonde. And so going through the list of songs that I usually use, the first song will be Amy Winehouse, Now You Know. And this had a much clearer and cleaner effect in the treble in the beginning of the song. Like the room, so that song is done live. I think it's like live at the BBC or something like that. And there's a crowd, and it's in a concert hall, and so it's recorded okay, but a lot of IEMs don't reproduce it well. The Mangrid T's reproduced it really well. These reproduced it really well. So when I listened to it in the blonde, it sounded really good in the blonde, but then I put these in, and it was like I could hear the cymbals in the background, I could hear noises in the background, and they sounded like they were really there, like they were clear and clean. The bass on these was much tighter and stronger in that song. Amy Winehouse's voice sounded very smooth and very like powerful on these compared to the blonde. I think the treble and mids on this are better than the blonde. The next song that I went with was Arvo Part again. I went and used that classical song. Again, the treble on these was much clearer, much cleaner. It felt like there was a lot more air in the song. Cymbals at the beginning and were in the back, like I could hear them back there, but they were still very clear and more prevalent than on the blonde. Like I could hear them in the blonde, but not as well as on these. And on these, they sound separated and by themselves, and like there was good, clear, and airy sound. Whereas on the blonde, it still sounded really good on the blonde, but just didn't have that same clearness that these had. Again, the bass was, especially in that classical song, the big crashes with that big bass drum they use in orchestras, and it was very like powerful in these, much more than the blonde. Separation was excellent on these. These are really good for classical music. I'll say that for sure. Robin Trower, About to Begin, another song I used. There's a really good cymbal crash right around 55 seconds in that one. I talked about it in my Mangrid T video, and these produced that so good. I mean, it sounded so good. The timbre on that was just really excellent, and his vocals, the singer, and I can't remember his name now in the Robin Trower group. It's not Robin Trower. It's another guy that's doing the singing. His vocals sounded very detailed and realistic. Like, again, I'm gonna lend that to the timbre. That they just sounded more real. I could hear the kind of gravel in his voice I couldn't really hear with the Blonde 03. Next one I went to was Rodrigo and Gabriela, Krotona Days from the Metavolution album, and everything was good on the blonde for sure, but this was better. The detail between the two was exactly the same. I couldn't say that this had more detail than the blonde. I would say the timbre on this was better than on the blonde, but only slightly. And the stage in these was also better, but just a little bit better. So it was very close in that song, but these did win out. Alexis Cole, A Beautiful Friendship, this is the name of the song. The cymbals and the snare drum at the beginning of that. There's a bass drop that hits, and this is very clear and real when that happens compared to the blonde. The blonde sounds really good, but this sounded even better. The timbre on these was excellent for that. I will say, this is interesting. So I just did a video on the Mangrid T, and that's a $300 IEM. And I'm going to tell you that was a little bit more sensitive as far as like volume goes. So it took a lot more volume to get these to the same level as the Mangrid T. But overall, on that Alexis Cole, A Beautiful Friendship, this sounded better than the Mangrid. The vocals were a tiny better. Alexis Cole's vocal was a little bit better on the Mangrid, but not by much at all. This was better than the Mangrid on almost all the rest of the song. The Alexis Cole song Alone Together, same thing. Cymbals and the drums are crazy in the beginning of that song. Her voice is so real on these, and the stage is really excellent. And then when that bass string hits in right around 1 minute and 35 seconds from the end of the song, it's just perfect on these. It really reproduced it well. I was really blown away because I again was coming from the first ones that I had, which I thought kind of sucked. I didn't really like them. These are something completely different. I'm going to tell you that on that Alone Together song, the beginning where the cymbal and the snare drum is really hitting a lot, that this outdid the Mangred T by a fair margin on that song. It's hard to say why, but it just did. And I mean, the Mangred T has 6 BAs and a dynamic driver, yet this with its single dynamic driver, it kicked its butt. That's all I can say. There was parts of the song where the Mangred and this were neck and neck, but most of the time this was pulling out ahead for sure. And I don't really know what else to say about it other than this version with the Beryllium driver in the latest one they've got for $69 is 100% worth $69. And if you want to pay the $12 express shipping fee to get the thing in quicker, totally worth it. I do not regret doing that at all. I'm going to say these are for sure a keeper for me. I think they're better than the Blonde. I think they are almost as good, in many respects better than the Mangred T, which is $300. These things are pretty incredible for $69. I mean, it's kind of hard to believe, but it's true. They are excellent. Definitely a good buy. And I don't know what else to say. I really like them. I like this cable better than the other cable. If you're looking to get the silver cable that they come with, because I got that in the first set, it's a little bit rough on the skin. It's more like a metallic feel to it and a little more uncomfortable, but it's okay. This cable is a little bit softer and a little easier to deal with. I did notice that when I was testing them, I listened to a lot over the weekend and then again today, just before this video, to kind of really regain my feelings on it. The cable on the left side, suddenly the right side, there was no sound for a second, and I kind of moved the cable a little, and then I got the sound back. So it could be that they're still having a production issue with this cable. I don't know. But either way, it's MMCX, and it's easy to swap it out. It's already a tall one, so it'll fit just fine on whatever you get. You can get cables really cheap. These are totally worth the $69. The case they come with is really nice. Little box presentation is nice. They have a nice weight to them. They feel very solid, and their profile fits, at least my ear, fits extremely well. I can actually lay down on them with these are completely in my ear, and I can actually kind of lay down with these. So nice big opening. This tip is the one I like because it's got the wider opening, so it's not blocking the sound coming out of there at all. Yeah, I don't know if I can't say anything else about them. For $69, that you can't go wrong. These are fantastic, almost reference quality, in my opinion. All right, well, I hope this helps you out. Thanks a lot, guys. Take care.